Sorry, we'll tour it later. Something came up. My family texted as I waited alone at the lobby launch. I paid the $1,780 bill, said nothing, and went home. 3 hours later, I saw their photos celebrating my brother's pilot license. I canceled the $2,300 house payment, froze their credit cards, and dropped a sealed note on their porch. It just said, read together. By morning, 78 missed calls. I should have known they wouldn't show. But I still set the table, white linen, 8 chairs, a wine list folded just so. I even asked the hotel staff for fresh flowers, red and cream like Mom's old garden. The reservation was under Julian Reeves' private family celebration. My name is Julian. I'm 34, an architect based in Chicago. And tonight was supposed to be the biggest night of my career. They just unveiled the lobby of the Ardent Tower downtown. My design, my first solo skyscraper project. A sweeping blend of marble, glass, and light that had taken 3 years and half my sanity. The mayor showed up for the ribbon cutting. My boss shook my hand for so long I thought he'd never let go. But the only people I really wanted to impress were my family. So I booked this dinner. A private hall on the 33rd floor of the Aurelius Hotel. Panoramic view, custom menu, champagne already chilling. I got there early. Had the staff set the table twice. Checked my phone every 5 minutes, brushing invisible dust from the cuffs of my blazer. 7 o'clock came and went. At 7:15, the waiter peeked in. Should I start bringing out the starters, Mr. Reeves? Not yet, I said, glancing at my phone again. At 7:23, I got the message. A single text in the family group chat, like a blow to the chest. Sorry, can't make it. Something urgent came up. No explanation. No calls. Just that. I sat still, staring at the screen, waiting for someone to follow up to say it was a joke. But nothing came. I stayed for another 30 minutes, just sitting there. The staff kept coming in, quiet and awkward, carrying plates that nobody touched. They laid down the filet mignon, the wild mushroom risotto, the saffron soup. They cleared them just as quickly, untouched. The bill came in one of those little leather folders. $1,780. I handed over my card without a word. As I waited for the receipt, I opened Instagram, just to distract myself. First post that popped up was from my sister, Rachel. Her and the whole family, mom, dad, even my cousin Eric, all huddled around a cake with a little airplane on top. Congrats to Caleb. Our baby boy is officially a pilot. They were at the Landing, some aviation-themed restaurant out in Oakbrook. Glasses raised, faces glowing. Caleb, my little brother. His graduation from flight school was today too. I didn't even know. That's when it hit me. I didn't just get stood up. I got replaced. They didn't forget my celebration. They chose someone else's. I left the hotel without saying a word. Not to the staff, not to the valet, not even to myself. But something in me cracked as the wind hit my face. A small, clean break, cold and quiet. And I knew then something was over. Back at my condo, I didn't turn on the lights. I walked straight to the kitchen, loosened my tie, and just stood there. The silence pressed against my ears like static. My reflection in the microwave door looked like a ghost, still in the same blazer I wore at the grand opening, still clutching my phone like I was waiting for another excuse. But no messages came. No apology. No second thought. I took a long breath, then opened my banking app. The first thing I did was cancel the recurring rent payment I'd been sending to my parents for the last 6 years. I didn't even remember how it started. Maybe it was after Dad got laid off or when Mom's arthritis made her cut back her hours at the salon. I just kept paying. Every month on the first, like clockwork. Not anymore. Next, I opened the credit card management portal. 2 joint cards, both in my name, one linked to Rachel, the other to Caleb. Just to help them build credit, I remembered saying once. Just until they get on their feet. Rachel had charged a $480 handbag last week. Caleb had racked up gas, snacks, flight gear. I froze them both with a single click. Then I sat down at my desk and grabbed a no card. I thought for a moment about what to write. I didn't want to rant, didn't want to beg. I wasn't angry anymore, not in the loud, fiery way. Just hollow. Like everything inside me had been emptied out and all that was left was a quiet kind of finality. So I wrote 5 words. Read this together. Julian. I slid the card into an envelope. No return address. Just their house number written in clean block letters. By 4 a.m. I was behind the wheel, headlights cutting through the misty backroads that led out of the city. Their house sat off a winding lane in the countryside. The porch light was still off, the windows dark. I parked at the edge of the driveway, got out, and placed the envelope neatly on the doormat. I didn't linger. By the time I got back on the road, the sky was turning a soft gray. My phone started buzzing just after sunrise. At first, I ignored it, but after the 5th call, I turned off the ringer. By the 8th, I put it on airplane mode. When I finally looked mid-morning, I had 78 missed calls, 8 voicemails, over a dozen texts, but I didn't open any of them. Instead, I sat on my balcony, sipping cold coffee and watched the street below like it was a movie I had no part in. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel responsible. I just felt calm. It started with a LinkedIn post. Not even 24 hours after I dropped that envelope on their porch, my mother made her move. A vague but loaded status, sitting pretty between two posts about homeopathic vitamins and a shared meme about real family values. Sometimes success changes people. It's sad when money replaces love and pride replaces kindness. But we keep loving them anyway from a distance. Broken heart. No names. No direct call-out. But I knew who it was for. So did everyone else. By the end of the day, it had over 300 likes and a thread of supportive comments. Cousins, church friends, old neighbors, all chiming in with, "Stay strong, Mama R, and you don't deserve this." I didn't reply. I didn't like or comment, but something inside me shifted, not sadness, not guilt, just a tightening, a coil winding up. Then came the voice message. Dad's voice, raw with controlled rage, pouring out of my phone in harsh bursts. "What the hell is wrong with you? You think you're better than us now? You think freezing cards and dropping off cryptic little notes makes you a man? You ungrateful little shit. We raised you. We sacrificed for you. And this is how you repay us? Don't forget who put food on your table when you were too small to carry a book bag." I saved it. Didn't reply. Didn't delete it. Then Rachel lit the match. A flood of texts hit my phone one night as I was reviewing designs for a new hotel project. Paragraph after paragraph, no punctuation, no breaks. "I don't know what you're trying to prove, but you've completely lost it. We were trying to be there for Caleb, it was his graduation, and you're turning this into some martyr sob story. Grow up, Julian. You're 34 and still acting like a moody little boy who didn't get picked for kickball. I hope whatever ego trip you're on is worth burning your whole family for." That one stung, not because of what she said, but because of how easy it was for her to say it. Like none of the help I'd given over the years mattered. Like my absence was just an inconvenience, not a wound. The worst part wasn't the family. It was when it reached my job. My boss, Grant, called me into his office. His face was tight, not angry, just careful. "Julian," he said, folding his hands. "I got a strange phone call this morning. A woman who said she was your mother." I didn't blink. "What did she say?" He hesitated. "That you've been acting unstable. That she's worried about your mental health and that someone at your company should look into it." My stomach went cold, but I kept my voice steady. "Did she mention why I might be unstable?" "No," he said, leaning back. But I told her clearly, I don't take anonymous diagnoses. I asked if there was a medical concern. She hung up. I exhaled slowly. "I appreciate you telling me." He nodded. "Whatever this is, it's your business. You're one of the sharpest minds in this firm, Julian. I trust you. Let me know if it escalates." And just like that, I knew. This wasn't just family drama anymore. It was war. And they'd made the first public strike. I didn't set out looking for proof. I just wanted to clean up loose ends. There was an old shared Google Drive labeled Reeves Family Project, something we'd set up years ago when Mom was planning that messy family reunion and asked me to make it look professional. I hadn't touched it in forever, but I remembered it because I was the one who created it. Back when I was still the fixer, the helper, the idiot. I opened it late one night after work, more out of habit than hope. What I found made my stomach twist. They'd forgotten to lock it down. In a hidden folder labeled Notes, Archive, there was a file. convo_log_2022_q4.txt. I clicked it. It was a transcript, exported from some group chat I hadn't been invited to, or maybe one they thought I couldn't see. Mom, Dad, Rachel, even Caleb. It started with casual updates, planning bills, groceries, don't forget to ask Julian about that thing, kind of stuff. Then I saw it. "Rachel, I'm telling you, if we just play it right, he'll say yes. He always does. Guilt is his kryptonite. Dad, he should be grateful. He makes good money. What's he gonna do with it? Spend it on furniture?" Mom, exactly. He doesn't even have a family. All that money just sits there. He was meant to help. That's his role. My hands froze over the keyboard. My face felt hot, then cold. It got worse. "Caleb, if he pushes back, we tell him we're short on Mom's meds again. That usually works. Rachel, and if he really acts up, we still have that pension thing. Just say he moved the money by accident. A little scare might humble him. Mom, let's not threaten him yet. But yes, keep it in our pocket." They called me the wallet. Repeatedly. "Dad, let the wallet think he's in charge. Keeps him generous." It felt like reading a script from a play where I didn't know I was cast as the fool. Not just taken for granted, manipulated. Calculated. Not love. Not even disappointment. Just strategy. I downloaded the whole thing. Screenshotted every page. Saved the timestamps. Then I checked the drive history. They'd updated it last week. I dug further, found old voice notes Dad had uploaded by accident. Heard him laughing, saying, "Just wait till Jules finds out we got Caleb's car on that co-signed card. Bet he'll thank us." I didn't react. Not outwardly. I made a new folder on my desktop. dossier, and inside it I began building a quiet arsenal. Every message, every file, every audio clip, dated, sorted, and backed up 3 ways. They thought they were being clever. They thought I'd never know. But they forgot the most dangerous kind of man isn't the one who explodes. It's the one who waits. I didn't post anything flashy. No long monologue. No dramatic TikTok video or teary-eyed confession. Just a sentence. Simple. Sharp. I was exploited. I have proof. I am done being used. I posted it on LinkedIn, where most of the family's inner circle of church friends, coworkers, and former classmates still followed me. I didn't tag anyone. I didn't need to. Within 20 minutes, the private messages started trickling in. Julian, are you okay? Is this about the post your mom made? If this is what I think it is, good for you. I let the post breathe. Let it settle into people's feeds like a quiet alarm bell. Then, on a separate burner email account, I attached the chat logs, screenshots, voice notes, a short summary at the top. You've known the Reeves family a long time. So did I. Here's the part they never let you see. I sent it to every family friend, extended relative, and longtime community connection I had a name for, even the folks we only saw once a year at holidays. The aunts and uncles who never remembered my birthday but always asked me to fix their fences or explain their taxes. I hit send. Then I logged off. By the time I checked again that night, the original post had nearly 1,000 views and over 100 comments. All supportive. People weren't stupid. They could connect the dots. Especially after my mother doubled down. She'd posted again, this time directly. Some people will rewrite history to justify cutting off their family. I won't share details, but I ask our friends to pray for our son. He's lost. The replies were full of sympathy. He'll come back around. They always do when they run out of steam. So I dropped the first screenshot. Just one. Not even the worst. Just a line from the chat log. Rachel, if he doesn't give in, we'll say he siphoned Dad's pension. I posted it as a reply to her status. No commentary. No anger. Just the receipt. The silence that followed was beautiful. Her post was deleted within the hour. Dad tried to clap back next, with a ranty comment under an old photo. You're not a victim, Julian. You're just bitter. I responded with a screen recording of the voice memo where he called me an ungrateful little shit and threatened to remind me where I came from. That was the last anyone heard from him online. By the weekend, I started getting messages from people I hadn't spoken to in years. Cousins I barely knew. Neighbors who used to nod from across the street. I'm sorry. I had no idea. You were always the quiet one. Guess you were paying attention. Rachel locked her accounts. Caleb posted some half-hearted meme about haters before disappearing completely. Mom went dark. And I didn't gloat. I just posted one more sentence. Silence is their admission. And I logged off. She picked the place. Of course she did. The Glass Garden, a half-forgotten botanical park just outside the city, tucked between 2 old highways and a shuttered farmer's market. We hadn't been there since I was 12. Back when I still believed she could fix things. Back when I still thought being good was the key to being loved. I got there early, parked beneath the old oak near the west gate. The paths were cracked. The fountain was dry. But the greenhouse still stood, that foggy glass dome where she used to walk me through the orchids like we were royalty. She was already inside when I entered, wearing beige slacks, a pale pink blouse. Her hair pulled into the same tight bun she wore to every church banquet, every funeral. The respectable look. Julian, she said softly, like she was greeting a wounded bird. Thank you for coming. I didn't answer. Just stood there, arms crossed, letting the silence stretch. She sighed, walked slowly to a wooden bench and sat, placing her purse carefully beside her. You know this used to be your favorite place, she said, smiling like it was a story from a scrapbook. You'd run straight to the koi pond. Wouldn't talk to anyone until you'd counted every fish. I stayed quiet. I remember thinking, he's so focused, so serious. Even back then. She looked up. You're still that way? No, I said finally. Back then I was just hoping you'd look up from your magazine long enough to notice me. She flinched. Julian, I'm not here for nostalgia, I said. I pulled out my phone and tapped the screen. The first audio clip played Dad's voice, bitter and clear, calling me a failure. Then another, Rachel mocking me as the wallet. I played the clip of her own voice saying he was meant to help. That's his role. She turned away. But I wasn't done. I swiped through the screenshots, the chat logs, the email trails. Her name, her words, all of it. Finally, I lowered the phone and looked her in the eye. Why? She didn't answer. Why wasn't I worth the truth? Why was I only valuable when I was paying for something? When I kept quiet, her eyes welled. We didn't mean to hurt you. Yes, I said calmly. You did. You just never thought I'd say anything. She broke then. Tears slipped down her face, hands shaking in her lap. You were always so distant, she said. So quiet. We didn't know how to reach you. Your brother was easy. Your sister too. But you? You were hard. I wasn't hard, I said. I was exhausted. She shook her head, wiping her cheeks. You're obsessed with being right. No, I said. I'm obsessed with being free. She looked up again, her face raw, mascara streaking. So that's it. I nodded. You were never protecting me. You were protecting your comfort. She sobbed, bent forward, like her body couldn't hold it in. I stood, and for the last time I said, "Goodbye, Mom." Then I walked out of the greenhouse and into the cold, open air. Not lighter, not healed, but honest. And finally done. It was the last name I expected to see flash across my screen. Gerard Reeves Mobile. Uncle Gerard. My dad's older brother. The one who used to send birthday cards with $20 bills tucked inside even when everyone else forgot. Retired Navy officer. Lived 2 states away. Showed up to weddings, funerals, but never stayed long. Always polite. Always watching. I hadn't heard from him in years. I let it ring once, twice, then picked up. Julian. His voice was low and steady. Same tone I remembered from childhood. Like he was always halfway through solving a problem. Uncle Gerard, I said, cautious. Didn't expect to hear from you. He didn't waste time. I got the email. My chest tightened. That wasn't meant for you. Doesn't matter, he said. I read it. Every word. Every receipt. Silence stretched for a moment. Then he added, you were right to walk away. I didn't realize how much I needed to hear that until he said it. My throat tightened. I looked out the window and took a deep breath. I didn't know who else to turn to, I said. You didn't turn to me, he replied. You stood up on your own. That's why I'm calling. He asked for the numbers, what I'd paid, what I'd lost, where it all went. I didn't sugarcoat it. I sent over a spreadsheet I'd started compiling with every expense broken down. Rent for my parents. Credit card debt tied to Rachel and Caleb. A separate tab for co-signed loans I hadn't even mentioned yet. I waited, half expecting judgment. Or worse, pity. But when he called back, all he said was, give me 3 days. That was it. No promises. No speeches. Just the quiet conviction of a man who knew how to move mountains when needed. 3 days later, my bank pinged. Transfers. 5 in total. One labeled correction, family grant. Another labeled debt recovery, R. Reeves. 2 came from trusts I didn't even know Gerard managed. And the last one was simply titled, You Are Not Alone. Gee, I stared at the screen for a long time. It wasn't just about the money. It was about the fact that someone had finally said, I see you. And you deserve better. I called him that night. All I said was, thank you. He replied, don't thank me. Just build something better. And in that moment, I realized he wasn't rescuing me. He was standing beside me. The first real ally I'd ever had. 2 months later, I was gone. No dramatic goodbye. No note on the door. Just one moving truck, a new lease in my name, and a quiet, clean break. I relocated to Raleigh, North Carolina, 2 states south, 2 universes away from the chaos I left behind. A boutique design firm had offered me a creative director position 3 weeks after I updated my portfolio and quietly started circulating it through private channels. No social media announcements. No LinkedIn posts. Just quiet progress. The job was good. Better than good. Small team, big projects. The kind of work that left me fulfilled, not drained. They gave me space to create and didn't ask for my soul in return. I rented a 1-bedroom apartment on the 6th floor of a quiet complex near the art district. Hardwood floors. South-facing windows. A balcony that caught the sunset just right. It wasn't flashy, but it was mine. On my first night there, I deleted everything. Old photos. Family threads. Every saved voicemail, every old email chain. I closed the group chat I used to dread opening. I blocked my parents, my siblings, and every mutual contact who had ever started a sentence with, but they're your family. Gone. I changed my phone number. Switched banks. Upgraded my passwords. Signed up for identity protection just in case Dad got creative again. My world got quieter by the day. And better. I started sleeping through the night. No more 3 a.m. messages from Rachel. No more panic about overdue payments I didn't make. I cooked again. Slowly. Like it meant something. Sometimes I'd get updates from Uncle Gerard. Just short, factual check-ins. Rachel tried to contact the bank. Denied. Your father filed a dispute. It didn't go anywhere. Your mother showed up at my house. I didn't open the door. He never asked for a response. But I always sent the same 2 words back. Thank you. Once I got a message from an unknown number. Julian, please. Just talk to us. We didn't mean for things to go this far. No name. But I knew it was my sister. I deleted it. Didn't even hesitate. A week later, she tried through a mutual friend. Then again through an old coworker. I blocked every path they found. I didn't owe them a chance to rewrite the narrative. They told me I didn't belong and I believed them. The real closure came when I stood in my new office, overlooking the Raleigh skyline, and realized I didn't miss them. Not the calls. Not the noise. Not the guilt. The part of me that used to ache for their approval had gone quiet. Not numb, just peaceful. I wasn't running anymore. I was free. And I was never going back. It was a quiet Sunday morning when I finally understood what peace felt like. Not joy. Not triumph. Just stillness. I sat by the window of my apartment, cradling a chipped mug filled with black coffee, watching the sunlight slide down the side of the building across the street. A dog barked somewhere below. A couple walked by, hand in hand. Normal life, uninterrupted. I hadn't checked my phone in 3 days. No more dread when it buzzed. No more invisible weight pressing against my chest when I saw my mother's name. No more recycled guilt wrapped in just checking in texts. That was all gone. Gerard called me that afternoon. First ring, I picked up. Hey, he said. Just wanted to let you know they've stopped trying. I didn't say anything at first. Just sat there, letting it land. Letting the words settle. They haven't called, haven't emailed. Rachel posted something about letting go of toxic ties. That was 4 days ago. Radio silence since. I smiled. Not wide. Not sharp. Just real. Thanks for telling me. He paused. How are you doing, Julian? I looked around my apartment, the clean floors, the unopened mail on the counter, the blueprint sketches drying near the desk. I'm okay, I said. Better than okay, actually. After we hung up, I stayed by the window a while longer. I thought about all the versions of me that used to live in the shadows of their expectations. The son who kept paying. The brother who kept bailing them out. The quiet man they only remembered when bills were due. They were never going to change. And I wasn't going to wait for them to. But it wasn't anger I felt anymore. It was grief. Not for the people I left behind, but for the illusion I carried so long. The fantasy that maybe one day they'd look at me and say, you matter even when you're not giving. I mourned that myth. Then I let it go. Not everything gets a bow. Not every ending comes with an apology. Sometimes peace doesn't mean resolution. It means release. And in that small, sunlit apartment, for the first time in my life, I felt whole.